Welcome to this League of Politics Champion Spotlight, featuring Jordan Peterson, the Hammer of Alberta.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Jordan Peterson is one of the most polarizing champions in the game, and he seems to be constantly getting nerfed, buffed, and nerfed again.
As you know, the court that we appealed the College of Psychologists' decision to decided that it's within the college's purview to stop me from having any political opinions, as far as I can tell.
Despite the constant rebalances, he is a very powerful, dedicated spellcaster with a number of high-impact abilities at his disposal. Let's dive into a high-resolution representation of what the Hammer of Alberta can do on the Rift. Jordan Peterson hails from the frozen wastes of the Freljord. In his youth, Jordan spent his time as one of the absolute boys, getting drunk and smoking cigs to maintain an unhealthily low amount of muscle mass.
When I was 25 or so, I probably weighed about 138 pounds. I smoked like a pack of cigarettes a day. I drank a tremendous amount of alcohol.
After deciding he spent enough time dicking around, Jordan Peterson encountered the Freljordian shaman Lysandra and ingested so many magical mushrooms that he became a clinical psychologist.
I have taken extremely high doses of psilocybin. Like 4 doses is enough basically to knock you out of your body. I took 7 grams 3 times.
Jordan's passive is righteous indignation. As someone with intimate knowledge of the atrocities committed by humans throughout the 20th century, Jordan has no tolerance for cringy, overprivileged weaklings who joke about what are objectively the worst crimes against humanity ever committed.
Bolshevik meaning Bolshevik-like. It's like, well, you know, he's appropriately Bolshevik. It's like, it's no different than saying, well, he's appropriately Nazi-like. Like, what the hell is that? I mean, there were 50 million people that were killed in the Soviet Union by the Bolsheviks, and maybe twice that many in China. And that says nothing about Cambodia and all the other places there were radical left bloodbaths. You think it's cute to call someone Bolshevik? Jesus, it's appalling.
Unfortunately, this righteous indignation makes it easy for Peterson to lose his temper and have his brain rotted by calling people literal artards on Twitter. Maybe he should learn to be a bit more precise in his speech. Jordan's Q is clean your room. Jordan can target either an enemy champion or an ally with this ability. If it's an enemy champion, Jordan deals a moderate amount of magic damage, reminding his enemy that if you can't clean your own room, you're in no position to LARP as a communist revolutionary attempting to fundamentally transform the political and economic structures at the base of Western civilization. If it's a friendly champion, Jordan heals his ally, providing them encouragement that if you learn to address the problems that are in your immediate control, you can slowly but surely expand on that capacity to be able to eventually make a much bigger difference in the world. Victory. Jordan's W is Wrath of Jung. As a student of Carl Jung, Jordan Peterson demonstrates a mastery of the archetypes. He is able to channel this ancient magic into epic Twitter insults, such as calling people the embodiment of the devouring mother or the whore of Babylon. How anyone is able to be compared to an ancient Babylonian whore and survive is beyond me, but then again, your mom has always demonstrated incredible resilience. Jordan's E is what do you mean by God? As an epistemological pragmatist, Jordan Peterson wields fundamental concepts like truth and God in ways that can be confusing.
I think that fundamentalists and atheistic scientists have the same problem. The fundamentalists make the proposition that biblical stories are literal representations of the truth. And that might be true depending on what you mean by literal. But what they mean by literal, or what they attempt to make literal mean, is that they're in the same category as scientific facts. Because they don't have the idea that there are different ways of approaching truth, and that truths can serve different purposes. They don't have a sense that your definition of truth is actually something like a tool, rather than an ontological statement about the reality of the world.
While this framework is very useful for wrestling with complex philosophical issues, it also allows Jordan to sound like a coked-out philosophy student attempting to write the dankest and most esoteric philosophical thesis paper the world has ever seen.
The question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen? Do you believe in God? And I think, okay, there's a couple of mysteries in that question. What do you mean do? What do you mean you? What do you mean believe? And what do you mean God?
I think we mean God as in, God damn it, Jordan, lay off the magic mushrooms.
I think that Revelation is a psychedelic account, literally.
Oh, the Book of Revelation.
I really believe that. You bet.
Jordan's ultimate is Crustacean of Chaos. Jordan transforms into a giant fire-breathing lobster, blasting enemies with facts and logic.
Tell us about the lobster.
Not only does he draw upon the magical powers of the lobster, but he also unleashes the might of the entire animal kingdom on his opponents with epic references to rats.
The rats are all like this. The rat goes like this. So the rat's like this. The normal rat is like this. That's the normal rat.
And chimpanzees.
And so what happens is, even if he's like the meanest, toughest guy on the block, two subordinate chimps team up, they make friends, they groom each other, and they have each other's backs. And one day he's having an off day because he ate too many fermented bananas the night before, and they just tear him into pieces. And chimps are unbelievably strong and unbelievably brutal.
Yeah, Jordan definitely doesn't monkey around. Jordan is a powerful spellcasting mage, so you'll usually find him in the mid lane as part of a conservative or center-right team composition. In the current meta, he is most often seen on teams running several members of the Daily Wire. The increased influx of cash and high-quality production capabilities allow Jordan to carry his team far into the late game. But be warned, one too many dinners with the Daily Wire's board members and you may find yourself shilling for a Middle Eastern theocracy before you know it. In the mid lane, Crustacean of Chaos is Peterson's signature ability. It's excellent for winning one-on-one duels against enemies with limited understandings of science and psychology.
My big problem with the lobsters is that it's scientifically bollocks. Right? It's just, you cannot read across from lobsters and what they do to what humans do.
That's why serotonin works on lobsters.
But it works in two different ways. So if serotonin makes lobsters more aggressive, it makes humans less aggressive. Right?
That's not right.
Serotonin makes human beings more dominant but less aggressive.
That's not bollocks. I know my neurochemistry. So if you're going to play neurochemistry, let's go and do it.
Be careful with this ability though, especially if you're playing on a team with a lot of science deniers like Ken Ham or Ali Bet Stuckey. If Jordan begins talking about science and evolution too much, he risks alienating the more dogmatically religious allies on his own team.
And what's their explanation for why eventually this evolution stopped? Like, obviously they're still monkeys, and so they didn't all evolve into humans, and we're not going to turn into another species. So what do they say to that?
Okay, so they'll say a number of things.
And if you're on the fundamentalist side, you say, well, we'll try to shoehorn science into this framework, and really that doesn't work very well. It doesn't work very well with the claims of evolution, for example. In fact, it works very badly. And that's a problem, because evolutionary theory is it's a killer theory. And it's not a complete theory, and there's lots of things we don't know about evolution, but trying to hand wave that away, that's not going to work without dispensing with most of biology.
Thank you for watching this Champion Spotlight. Join us next time for a closer look at Vosh, the Horse Lord. There's a new meta in online politics. My meta.